Aloha, and welcome to the International Campfire Talk series put on by the Boy Scouts of America's International Department and Committee. This week, you will hear from Marie, who is from the Ivory Coast, and Titus from Zimbabwe. During these times where we may be unable to safely travel, we can still virtually visit these national scouting organizations and with the scouts that live there. These campfire talks serve as a way to raise awareness about international scouting and the fact that there are scouts all over the world. We will hear about the different scouting programs from these NSOs, as well as projects that they've done, learn about some of the culture, food, holidays from the Ivory Coast and Zimbabwe. By engaging in international scouting, young people can be better global citizens, have international adventures, and make lasting friendships with people all over the world. This month, we are visiting the African Scout region and have some very special guests.
Hi guys, my name is Mthabisi Titus Dhlamini. I know it's hard to pronounce, so you can either opt for Titus or just MT would be good. So I've been a scout since 2005. That was when I was in grade 3 in my primary school. It's been a great journey. It's been awesome. I've really enjoyed every minute of it. So I'm from Zimbabwe, from a city called Kwekwe. It's actually the fifth city in Zimbabwe. And what can I say? It's awesome being here. I'm really grateful to get to talk to you guys about scouting and how we do scouting here in Zimbabwe, Africa. So if you can just move to the next slide so that we get it going. All right. So Zimbabwe is situated in the southern Africa between Zambezi and Limpopo. It is a country rich in natural views. Like we have the highest deposits of platinum and diamonds. So I'm told, right? We also have a lot of fascinating landscapes, like in the western region. In the eastern region, we have the hills, the mountains, the likes of if you've ever heard of the Nyanga Mountains, the Bumba Mountains, right, next to Mtare border. We also have Joya Falls, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, so I'm sure most have heard of it. The term Zimbabwe, as you know, as we continue, comes from Zimbabwe. So I'll just explain as we go. So if we can just get to the next slide. Right. So as far as religion is concerned, there are, I could say, the most prominent ones are 2 religions in Zimbabwe. The biggest one now being the Christian religion, but I didn't actually see it really what to call it, more important to show it, since everyone already knows about Christianity. But then the other religion that has been like from the cultural roots, from the grassroots before the Europeans came into Zimbabwe, it was the African traditional religion, which we call ATR. So our forefathers, there are still people who are actually still into ATR. I'm not one of them though, but it's something that we still embrace as part of our tradition, as part of our culture, as part of our grassroots. So really the religion, what it's all about, it's they believe in one creator, the maker, the maker of the heavens, the maker of men, God the creator. But they believe that to get to God, we go through the Vadzimu. The Vadzimu are the spirit mediums, or rather the belief is when you die, according to your lineage, you become a spirit, right? So you become the Mzimu of that lineage. So what really happens is, if I were to pray, like if I was in ATR right now, I would pray to God through my great-grandfathers. Like I would state their names and all that, their rituals that they do as they pray. So they believe in God, the creator, but through the spirit mediums. So it's the same thing with even ceremonies like to do with rain making and the likes. It's all through the Adzimu and the spirit mediums. So that's basically one of the main religions that we have in Zimbabwe. Obviously next to Islam and Hindu, though they are not that much popular. Yeah. If we can move to the next slide, please. All right. Then as far as culture is concerned, so there are about 16 languages in Zimbabwe, right? But the most main ones, like the official languages, there are 3 languages. We have Shona, then we have Ndebele, and the official language, which is English, right? So if you see from the 3 pictures there, the one on the top far right, that's more of the Shona culture, with the ladies and all that dressing. That's more of the Shona culture, like the traditional dressing. Then the one that's standing alone, the one on the left, that's more of the Ndebele culture. Like those guys are dressing in the traditional way, especially for the men when they were going to war. Those are like shields that they are holding. That's the traditional way. So they were actually performing a dance, just showing some of the skills that they used to have, like when every guy was going for war, or rather even the traditional dances and all that. Then on the bottom, I felt like just sharing a peek of the modern culture of what Zimbabwe looks like today, because I know some people have this perception that Africa, it's all huts, like I talked to someone from Denmark the other time, a friend of mine. She was even puzzled that we do have Wi-Fi in Zimbabwe. So that's a picture of the part of the capital city. It's called Harare. It's the top part of Zimbabwe, like the northern part, Mashonaland, one of the provinces. Yeah, if we could just move to the next slide, please. All right. So I thought of just throwing in some fun facts about Zimbabwe, right? So the first one I threw there was like, so Lake Kariba, it is the largest man-made lake and reservoir in the world, and it is located in Zimbabwe next to the Zambian border. So we actually have a lake in Zimbabwe, but it's not a natural. It's something that was actually built. Yeah. So it is like a demo. Yeah, if you get the picture. Then in Zimbabwe, this one is fun. It kills me every time I think of it. In Zimbabwe, men with large stomach considered wealthy, right? So if you have a huge belly, you are associated with wealth, because a large stomach indicates that a person is financially stable and can afford to eat meat each day. So yeah, eating meat is more of a very huge privilege, because things like dieting are not really popular. They're becoming popular now, but from the norm, culturally, from way back, eating meat is one of those things that you do when you really can afford. So when someone has a huge pot belly, they are associated with good wealth, right? Then also in Zimbabwe, brand names do not matter, right? Um, so you see that things like every toothpaste that we have, it is just called Colgate. Every soft drink is called Coke. So it's like we have this culture of associating similar things with the first thing. Like you could say we don't like the trouble of keeping on remembering names of brands and stuff. So if it's toothpaste, whether it's Aquafresh, whether it's another type of toothpaste, we just call it Colgate because it's the first toothpaste that we've known in Zim, and it's the most popular one. So that goes with every other toothpaste. The same thing with soft drinks. All is Coke for us, even if it were Fanta or grape or Ken or whatever, it's still Coke, right? Then Zimbabwe is one of the smartest countries in Africa. Yeah, we boast with that. About 90% of the population is educated. Yeah, we are really good at that. We are good. We have good education here. Then in Zimbabwe, there is a strong belief that mermaids exist, and they are often blamed for unfortunate events such as murder. Like when people die in the rivers or where there are waters, right? It's usually associated with them having been killed by mermaids. Actually, there is actually this funny belief that if someone dies or disappears in the water, the family or the loved ones should not like mourn. If they mourn, they'll find that person dead. But if they don't mourn, that person will come back alive with a gift that's also associated with the tiara that I was talking about, African traditional religion, where they become a traditional healer, which we term enganga on this side, right? Then the criteria for voting in the 1917 elections, that was when Zimbabwe was still called Rhodesia, like in 1980 when we were to get our independence. The criteria for voting in the 1979 elections in Zimbabwe were level of education, wealth, and income, if you can believe it. Yeah. So, but now it's now fully democratic. You just have to be over 18 with a national ID, then you are eligible to vote, right? Then Zimbabwe is the largest platinum and diamond reserves in the world, as I mentioned before. If we can go to the next slide, please. All right. So, as part of the Zim culture, we are really connected to the animals that we have. We have a lot of wildlife in Zim, like the elephants, the buffaloes, the lions, antelopes, giraffes, and all that. So there is this taming, we call them totems. So the story is way back when our forefathers were settling and moving, settling in different places, creating new settlements. They would maybe fall sick, right? Then in trying to get well, they would find that there's some meat or some blood or any certain part of an animal that if they used could heal them or could make them feel better. So they would then render that animal sacred, making their totem. So like for instance, a lion in corner is called Shumba, right? So there are people who are then surnamed, like their last name becomes Shumba. So what it simply means is if their totem is Shumba, they don't eat Shumba. They regard the lion as a sacred animal. So that goes with totems. Yeah. There are also people who have totems that are actually body parts of animals. Some they are even plants. Yeah. Yeah. If we can move to the next slide, please. All right. So as far as food is concerned, as you can see from the slide, I tried to just take a few of the ones that I like personally. I like. So we actually do roast corn, especially in the harvest season. We do roast corn. It's part of my favorite. Call it maize cob. Then that part on the far right, it's a fruit. We call it magake, right? Then the bottom right corner, that is probably the staple diet of Zimbabwe, sadza and meat, maybe some relish, wheat, veggies, and all that. But then we also have sadza from corn, and we have sadza from what we call zio, which is can be sorghum or finger millet, right? Right. Then on the bottom left, those are kind of like the crops that we actually farm. So we have pumpkins, we have groundnuts, we also have what we call matowe, the small fruit. I love that one a lot. And what we call mbambaira, the sweet potato. You've ever heard of those? We have plenty of those here in Zim. Yeah. If we can move to the next slide, please. Okay. Then as far as tourism, I had to pick the best two for me, or rather the best two for Zimbabwe, right? The first one being the Great Zimbabwe Ruins. So as I mentioned before that I would explain where exactly the name comes from. So that's where the name comes from. Like in the 11th century, some of the Shona speaking people, they settled in a place called Masvingo. It's the southeastern part of Zimbabwe, right? So they actually devised a way to make rocks become bricks. Like they built these walls, these houses without any mortar, just laying these granite rocks, these bricks on top of each other, right? So it's more of like the house of stone. That's where the name Zimbabwe comes from. So Zimbabwe simply means, it was Zimbabwe, meaning houses of stone. Mabwe, it means stones. So that's where the name of our country, Zimbabwe, comes from. So we have this tourist site called the Great Zimbabwe Ruins, right? Then, as I had alluded before, we also have one of the seven wonders of the world, which is the Victoria Falls, which is the end, like the tipward part of our country, if you've ever seen the map of Zimbabwe. Yeah. If we can move to the next slide, please. All right. So coming to scouting now. Scouting in Zimbabwe, it started in the year 1909, when the first Boy Scout troop was registered in the former Southern Rhodesia. It was still Southern Rhodesia then. That was before we then got our independence in 1980. So in 2009, we actually celebrated our 100 years of scouting in Zimbabwe at Godwin Park, Matobo Hills in Matabeleland. That's Bulawayo. Yeah. If we can move to the next slide, please. Okay. So the structure of our NSO, we have two. I can say we have two arms, right? The one arm is called the uniform side, right? Then the other arm, we call it the non-uniform side. So the uniform side, it consists of the head, like at the top of it is the chief commissioner, right? So Zimbabwe is divided into provinces, which can be termed states in other countries, but in our country it's called provinces. So just below the chief commissioner appoints his or her provincial commissioners. So each province is its own commissioner, and we have like 10 provinces, right? Then each province, the provincial commissioner then appoints his or her district commissioners. So each province has its districts, and the districts also have their commissioners, right? So the way we really operate is that the movement has been instituted like into the formal education system of the country. So most of our scouting is done in schools. So what it simply means is each province has a few, there are also a few community groups, like community scout groups, but most of the, I could say up to 95 or 99% of the scout groups that we have in Zimbabwe, they are actually under schools, like they are within the schools, they are clubs in schools, right? So that's about the uniformed side. Then the non-uniformed side, we have the chief scout. That's where the chief scout is, and we have the National Executive Council. So these guys, they are mainly focused on dealing with the administration of the NSO, be it how the NSO is financed, be it how the NSO functions with third parties, right? Whereas the uniform side, they deal more with the Scout program itself and how it's implemented, right? So that's mainly how our structure is the ZMNSO, or the Zimbabwe Scouts Association. If we can please move to the next slide. All right. So as part of the Scout method, we have this progressive scheme, right? Within each section, there is a progressive scheme of how each section, what they learn and what they have to accomplish in order to move to the next section. So basically, each section is managed, or rather, it's governed by the age, an age set, right? So we have Beaver Scouts. This is 7 years and below. We call them the Beaver Scouts. That's the first section in our NSO. Then the second section is the Cub Scouts. So it starts from the age of 8 to 11 years. So since our scouting is more based in the schools, it's usually from the primary school, from grade 3 to around grade, yeah, from grade 3 to around grade 5. Then from then they become the scouts. So the scouts from 12 years to 17 years. So they start usually from grade 6, 7, going to all their high school part to about A level. That's when they end, as far as school is concerned. That's 12 to 17 years. Then from 17 and a half, actually, I had to put 18 there, but from 17 and a half to 26, we then have the Rover Scout section, which is the section that I'm in right now. I'm a Rover Scout. So basically, that's how the movement goes, and at each stage there are programs that every scout has to do or go through as they progress, which we'll probably discuss a bit more further next, right? Then, as far as the uniform is concerned, we go for khaki, like the one I'm wearing right now. I think that's most popular in around most countries in Southern Africa. Then we differentiate each group by the scarf. Like, as you can see, I'm wearing, this is the national scarf though, but this is my crew scarf. So basically the scarves are the ones that differentiate each group. Like the color of the scarf tells which group a scout is from, right? So that's about our uniform. If we can move on, please. All right. Then for the programs, adjacent to the Bureau framework, like programs such as Messengers of Peace, the Scouts Go Solar. We also do programs that ensure that Scouts get to meet up to national level. The first one, the most popular one, being the skills competitions. So Scouts do skills competitions at district level. Then those who qualify, like maybe the top 3 groups at district level, come and also compete at a provincial level. Then the top 3 go to national level, right? So that's where they showcase the skills of what they've been learning, be it pioneering, be it first aid, be it general knowledge, be it any other survival skills, everything that they are learning within their syllabus. That's when they get to showcase. So we also do arts and culinary competitions, where we are saying they get to showcase their talents, be it music, be it poetry, public speaking, be it art like drawing, dancing, as well as cooking. So our arts and culinary, it's usually the arts and the culinary part is where they do the cookout competitions. So the cookout competitions, the scouts get to have menus where they compete to cook. The competition is mainly based on the recipes and also time management, right? So that's some of the programs that we actually do usually from the Cub Scout up to senior scouts, right? If we can move on, please. All right. So we also have annual national camps, like every year. Okay, this year was disturbed by COVID-19, obviously, but every year we do our annual national camps, where we get to meet, like all scouts from all provinces get to meet in one camp in one location, just get to interact, socialize, get to do a lot of activities together, just to keep the unity, morale burning. Yeah, you have to travel a lot during these camps because they usually rotate within provinces. Yeah. If we can move on, please. Thank you. All right. So as far as the Rover section is concerned, which is the section that I'm in, Rover section, as I alluded before, it starts from the age of 17 and a half. So basically in this, the programs, it's more of like we get to decide what we want to do. That's the way we do it here in Zimbabwe. Like we get to decide what we feel we want to do as Rover Scouts. Then obviously the adult support, they get to advise us on how best and what's the best way of the best method of doing whatever we're doing. And I just put some of the achievements that I've had right there, just to show how scouting has groomed me from a Cub Scout up to now, the character that it has given me, and all the successes that I've gotten to, that I boast around with. A lot of them, it's credit to the scouting skills that I've had, and also I put that just to show that how much opportunities our leaders in the movement, they create for us. Like, I've had a chance to represent my NSO in 2 Zonoid forums and conferences, one in Botswana, one in Malawi. I've attended a lot of trainings, Scouts Code solar trainings. I also volunteered as service task teams. I've also attended Zonal International Leadership trainings. And currently, right now, I'm a student at the University of Zimbabwe. I'm part 3 doing accounting, and I'm the outgoing president. And we've had a lot of activities, trainings, community service, and all credit goes to the movement and the leaders that we have, because they give us a platform where we get to implement what we learn, a platform to learn, as well as a platform to make an impact. So, in a nutshell, I would say that is scouting in Zimbabwe for you. The boys and girls here really love to camp. We love to serve, and we love to work together in helping to create this world and make it a better place for everyone around us. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, I guess this is the time for you guys to just shout out, and I see how best I can answer to those. Thanks. Chris, back to you.